Real life, real stories. Let's see what's trending in Indianapolis. This is Paul Poteet on The Edge.
Happy Paul Poteet music. How are you doing?
Happy Paul Poteet. The wheels on Paul go round and round.
No. All of our audience is going to have that earworm in their head now.
The greatest hits of the teen set. Well, that's the preteen set, I guess, right? You don't know that song? Wheels on the bus go round and round.
I have four kids. I literally have been
preteen.
No, it's not.
I don't know. It sounded right.
Taylor Swift does not sing that song. All right.
Yet.
Oh my gosh, you still have to listen to that crap, don't you?
Yes, I do. Well, I mean, we moved away from Barney. That's for darn sure. I mean, I went through the gauntlet of Barneyville for a good 12 years, I just wanted to shoot myself. To be honest with you.
Presently in the world of top 40 radio with any of my customers, but I could be back at a moment's notice. So I certainly don't want to disparage Taylor. I could get right back into her. I could start seeing her again, unlike the rest of the guys.
Wow.
Shots fired.
She breaks up a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Poteet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing all my best Taylor Swift material today.
So, hey, you always bring us some great, weird, and wacky news from the net and how it's affecting Indiana and Indianapolis. But first and foremost, I wanted to ask you, what was your take on Hurricane Irma and the response that we're seeing down in Florida? What are you seeing there?
Well, it went a little farther. It went farther west than at one point was anticipated / feared, because that may have been an even worse shot going straight up the peninsula. So it ended up going a little farther west, which was hinted at the very last group of computer model runs, because no surprise here, they get more accurate the closer you get to the actual event. So, I mean, it was bad. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. It wasn't the worst hurricane they've ever had.
No.
It was, I think, from what I've seen, it was kind of barely a Category 4 when it came on shore. But they're all bad. I mean, there were still some. Naples had winds like 140 miles an hour. Now, whether or not people overreacted, that's a game you can't win. People are always going to side for being more. If it looks like it could be bad, then you have to react to it. I think human nature figures into it, and that close to another major hurricane, I mean, it's just only natural that people are going to be on edge. That's actually, though, interestingly enough, it was about a 2-week separation between the two events, the two hurricanes. But there was one time I looked back in the 1930s, that there were two major hurricanes that struck the U.S. and they were like 2 days apart.
Oh my gosh!
So, like, you weren't depressed enough, in the 1930s. That would have added to it. So,
absolutely.
Could have been worse, but that's easy for us to say. We didn't lose a house or anything. I'm sure there's plenty of people that have to start from scratch. Hopefully, they had their insurance.
I'm just really taken aback by the news people that were in there, and it was.
That's ridiculous. It's a cliche.
It really is. It really is.
I mean, everyone knows. Thanks for bringing us the late breaking news. It's windy
and raining.
I hate to be its current year man, but it's 2017. Show us a drone shot of it or an automated camera.
I saw one take from a CNN reporter that was literally looking at a piece of a Sheridan sign that was on the ground, and that's all they could focus on. It's like, hey, it came from that sign, and watch it. They watched it move on the ground with the weather because that's all they could focus on. It's like, oh my, Phil, and it was just.
Well, it's video wallpaper, which is the curse of TV news. Sometimes video will always win, and even if it doesn't really communicate that much to you, if it's just some visceral feel, ooh, it's windy, the producers will go with that. But this idea that that they're actually telling us something that you don't know, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. All right.
If I were with Taylor talking about this over champagne coolies, she would say the same thing. It's ridiculous.
Okay, give us some more. Give us some more ridiculous stories here.
It's no different than going to the salt barn every time that there's an inch of snow in the forecast. Been there. Speaking of Indiana and snow and salt barns, Indiana's Star Wars fans are legion, if you will.
Absolutely. Oh, double entendre. I love that.
and look at you. I know that when I saw the story, I thought, I know some people that are going to like this a lot. Believe me, some of my best friends are/have been Star Wars and Star Trek fanatic, but of course, Star Wars, a tribute to Carrie Fisher in an Indiana cornfield.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
Look at that.
Cool.
It's down around Evansville.
Cool.
He created a corn maze with the trails outlining the face of Carrie Fisher. Well, obviously he did this, after she passed away. He planted it. He planned it. That happened like in December of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he used, I don't know how this works. He planted the spring using a GPS device.
I love it.
So now the corn is mature and the trails outline the Star Wars character's face, distinctive hairstyle, part of her upper body, although the gold bikini is missing, I might add.
Well, that'll happen as harvest comes, because we're going to have, right?
That's right. Slowly things are revealed as the season continues. It's the maze at the Goebel Farms near Evansville, Indiana, and paying customers are going to, somebody, when I did put that up online, somebody said it looks like the Starbucks logo, if you want to look at that again. And I saw that and I thought, oh, okay, maybe I do see that. Is that a lawsuit for Starbucks or for George Lucas?
All the suits right there, but that's a good care and I mean a commitment to his farm, obviously. But the guy was really inspired, super fan, absolutely. And Brittany has no connection and understanding of the super fans. Cool. Of Star Wars. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's Brittany, I'm with you. I mean, I watched Star Wars on TV after school when I was a kid, or not Star Wars, the other one,
Star Trek.
Star Trek. I know.
Do not cross the streams, okay?
It's not, as a matter of fact, one of my friends, I have it here in the office, gave me that. And
that's Obi-Wan. That's Obi-Wan. All right.
Is that worth anything, Aaron?
I don't know. Bring it over here. We'll check it out.
No, you'll never get it. It's mine. But I'm with you, Brittany. It's that's nice.
Wow.
Glad we're on the same page, Paul.
Amazing. I'm learning more and more about you both. That's
well, I mean, I got nothing against it.
Just don't really float your boat. Okay, then what else you got for us?
Brittany, he's assigned us a warp factor of 5. I think
you can't cross the streams like that. Star Wars and Star Trek are completely different. I'll tell you what.
I do this to my friends who are into this all the time too, and it drives them crazy. Okay, here's something. That corn kind of looked like Carrie. These people really look like famous works of art. I found this kind of fascinating. These people go to art galleries, okay, and we'll scroll down, and they pose next to. Look at that. They pose next to pictures that look like them.
That's pretty interesting.
Look at that, and look at that one. And this guy's got the hairline and the beard. All down, history repeating itself, as it says there. Look at that. The thing, now that beards are back into vogue.
Oh, look at Henry VIII.
Look at it. I'm Henry VIII, I am. So am I. Love it. And there you go. Got the fierce beard going again. And the hair, look at the details there.
Wow.
And here's a guy with a baby face. That one's a little unsettling. Luckily, he didn't recreate the entire painting.
Lord Almighty.
One that's called Creature Discomforts here. Again, that's actually Kenny G, I think, in that art gallery. That one right there. Posing, and it's just bizarre. It just goes on. Look at that one.
Okay.
It just goes on and on.
The next one's freaky.
Yeah, the one at that looks like something from a Stephen King movie.
Terrifying.
Yeah, that's somewhat terrifying. There's a guy, hands on the hips. Very good.
Okay, this one's freaky.
Look at that. This,
the
other guy has
that ain't right.
I don't care for that.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, have you guys ever been told that you look like somebody? I guess not necessarily from ancient history, but just somebody.
I look like Aaron.
I've heard some things, but
You've heard some things?
Yeah.
Not Julie from the Love Boat or anything
No,
like
not Julie from the Love Boat.
Julie from the Love Boat.
You missed that before all this.
that. Yeah, that was pre-show banter back and forth. And
I have had the misfortune, it happened with a couple of different radio morning shows. It started back in the 90s of being linked with beloved English comedian Rowan, I can't think of his last, Atkinson, I think it is, who portrayed for many.
Paul, it's you.
Mr. Bean.
Paul without a beard.
WENS back in the 90s. And then I changed radio stations and I went to ZPL in the late 90s and I still get it, from an entirely different morning show. So yeah, that may have been why the, beard came along. I'm just saying. That's probably the one that I've gotten the most. And then I also
photoshopped a beard on Rowan Atkinson, would we have Paul Poteet?
You foiled everything if you do that. You've ruined it.
The game's up, man.
You've crossed streams at that point.
I think I have.
So yeah, I've gotten him. The dude from Train, Pat. I think it's Moynihan. All right.
Yeah.
I've gotten that before, and then just recently, I had posted some picture a few weeks ago, and some guy said I look like the dude from I think an AMC show called Preacher.
Right.
That is on the air right now.
That's evil Paul Poteet right there.
Yeah, I cannot show that post to my pastor. He might not let me in this Sunday. And that one, and I think I attached another one. No, I can't remember who. Oh, it was this one. I think is kind of a stretch. Some guy was posted on Facebook. He was watching a repeat of The Incredible Hulk. And that I had looked vaguely like
the Incredible Hulk.
Well, no, not sadly, not the Incredible Hulk.
You wouldn't like him when he's mad.
That was not happening. It was Bill Bixby, the guy that played the Incredible Hulk. So I don't know. Just in case you've ever been compared to someone,
I've gotten
not necessarily in history.
Melissa Joan Hart from like Sabrina the Teenage Witch and
I could see that.
Yeah, I've gotten that since I was young.
I get Ron Swanson a lot. Just
well, because you talk about bacon every week on the show.
See, it's more behavioral, not really.
Might have something to do with it too. So now, doppelganger is an interesting topic. And we go from doppelgangers to emojis. Do you know that there's nothing as popular as poo?
What?
Oh.
Google search data reveals which emoji each state uses the most. And do you know, among all of the American top 40, among all the emojis used coast to coast, the one that turned up the most often was the poo.
Well, that's just crap.
The eggplant, heart, and winking face also proved to be popular across states. So it's one of these charts where it shows you a map of the United States and then it fills in with each state. And I didn't really understand like the one that they show for Indiana is there comes the map there.
Yeah,
we had it for a second.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll come back to us here. Let me point to a map. I made a lot of money doing that over the years. You'd be surprised how much money they'll give you just to point to a map. There's an ice cream cone for Indiana. Were you even who have you used that emoji? I don't think I've ever used it.
Not in all my life have I used that.
I bet my kids would love to.
Yeah, right. And then the 100, which I really haven't used a lot too. I have used the poo. Okay. That's
yeah. Oh my gosh. I might need some context for that.
That's right. Context is important.
That is my favorite ringtone. I'm going to put on Paul's number now. I have used the poo.
I have used the poo.
There it is.
We all have to go sometime, but the heart was big along the West Coast in Washington, Oregon, and California. And you would think Texas would be something other than peach. Isn't that a peach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I hope that's what we're looking at.
That is a peach.
That's often used to show something else.
That is a peach.
Like
oh. Yeah. Okay.
I'll let
I got
use
you.
your imagination. What that
It kind of
like.
ties in with the most popular emoji, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
At least they're not next together.
I don't know. It's a good thing Michigan and Wisconsin are separated by Lake Michigan. The Northeast loves its faces. The Northeast has a lot of faces, and then there's a couple of, are those
And
apples or tomatoes?
A lot of side eye in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I see that.
What's
And
with
then-
the ice cream cone in Indiana,
know.
though?
That, and it's Kentucky too. And we're like the only, let me look real quick. We're
That's
the
it?
only states where it's like that. Indiana,
weird.
Kentucky with the ice cream cone.
Because we're sweet.
Maybe somebody, if you're watching right now, chime in and tell us on
Explain it,
Facebook
please.
Live if you've ever used the the ice cream.
Or use the ice cream in the Facebook commentary. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, use it right now. I want a slew of emojis right now at
Do
the
it.
bottom of the screen.
Okay.
Just not that one. Not
Yeah.
that one.
Well, I mean, hey.
Those are some of the
if they
stories.
feel the need. Those are the stories. All right. Well, what are we looking at from a weather prediction here in the upcoming weeks?
We have got ourselves a turn here, a plot twist.
I'm not
I mean,
excited about this, Paul. I need you
so you don't like warm weather?
I need you to do better because
Okay, now we part again. We united on the whole, space thing. Now, Aaron, you'll be happy to know we have departed again because I love the hot weather.
Oh, wow.
Some like it hot. So I'm looking at this weekend.
I don't know about that. I've been donning the sweaters and the jackets. I dig that space right there. So you're telling me I don't get to do that anymore here?
No sweaters this weekend.
Fantastic.
You could wear them today as we do this live stream today. Wednesdays only in the 60s, and we still have actually some of the tropical leftovers are still around. If you look at it on the radar today, you'll see that where it looks like it's moving the wrong way, where it's more of a hurricane type circulation. So we still have leftovers, but clearly not to the extent of the south. But that should move off after tomorrow morning. And look at that. We've had some really nice weekends. We haven't had any above average weekends like this in a while. The average high is at this point 79, and we're going well into the 80s. Friday and Saturday we have rain chances on Monday. So for it looked like about the next 10 days, starting Friday, we're going to be above average around here and make up for some lost time. September is a sneaky month. I mean, it started the average high at the beginning of the month and the average high at the end of the month. There's like it's an 11-degree drop, or 10 or 11 degree drop. And whereas like in July and August, it's the same average high all the way through the month. And then all of a sudden,
well, and even the
Things
temperature
change.
differential between nighttime and daytime. I mean, there's quite a change there.
I know, and it's so dark late in the morning. If you've been driving to work,
is.
noticing, that it's so dark. But then we change time soon, and that'll screw that back up the other direction, and you don't have as much time to procrastinate to walk the dog or go for a run in the evening then at all.
Or utilize the emojis that you love so much.
Well,
No, we always have time, right?
there's always time for
ice cream.
Ice
Exactly.
cream. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, you too.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Paul. Fantastic information, and great to be able to see that you have so many different characterizations out online, pictures of you, so we can just pepper the walls.
Whatever
with
you do, don't post Mr. Bean anywhere near as a comment anywhere on this
the moods of
stream
Paul
right now.
Poteet.
It's a good thing. I've got very extremely thick skin. You can't see it through the camera here, but
There
luckily
he
I
is
have some
again, Mr. Bean.
extremely thick skin. Whew, Mr. Bean, what are they thinking?
Well, thanks so much, Paul, and we're certainly going to pay attention to the weather here, and let us know if anything else is coming our way between now and next Wednesday. All right.
All right, we'll see you on the edge. Bye.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.